It's cool that vehicles go, but it's also cool when they stop. I'm gonna throw some front brakes on the Escalade today. This is Bendix pads. I don't know that I've ever used them. Had a good deal on Amazon. You know, that's how we shop around here, but got new rotors too. A couple of these are, well, I'm hearing some noises, and I've not replaced these. I don't know if they're the original ones or not. Probably not, but I've never replaced them. I know that on the passenger side, there's some, if you go back and watch the Nissan Murano brake pad job, you can see my technique of pretending like I didn't see damage to the rotors and just put some pads on it, and the pads will form themselves to the rotors. I know that's happened on the passenger front, so we'll see what condition that rotor's in when it comes off, but I'll go ahead and I think I might have to pull it in the garage. Weather's not looking too good, so once I get it in the garage and get it up on jack stands, we'll check back in. All right, got her up off the ground. Pop these covers. Make sure, I think they're 21. Well, 22. It's a 22 millimeter. Grab old trusty Harbor Freight corded impact. It's a good tool. Still hanging in, but I do want one of those hyper tough 12 volt high Torx. We'll see. Maybe one day soon. Stay. All right, so what the plan is here, if you're new to the channel, I like to take shortcuts when I can. Things that, not things that really don't matter is what I'm saying. Not things that are bad ideas. But in this case, since we're changing the rotors, we do have to, there's significant lip over here and some definite deformation of the surface. But what I'm saying is, because I've seen people, if you're gonna replace just the pads, you can pull out one of the sliders and just rock the caliper over, get to the pads, put it back. We're gonna replace the rotors too, so that means the caliper bracket has to come off. And that means that what I've seen people do for the most part is pull the caliper totally off and then take the bracket off. But there's no reason to separate the caliper from the bracket, because it's just not. So I say all that, I'm probably gonna have to do it later, but the plan is to just pull the bracket, get something in there, compress the piston just enough to make sure we got clearance to get the pads off the rotor, and then pull the bolts, caliper bracket bolts, and take the whole caliper and bracket in one shot. Now this side has already been off because I had to replace the hub bearing assembly on this side before. So it doesn't have the screw. There's like a screw that secures the rotor to the spindle. I don't really even know why they do that other than to just make it easier to assemble. So it's not necessary because the caliper, I mean, once you get the rotor on, caliper, bracket, pads on, and bolt that wheel up, this rotor is not moving. So that must be the only reason. It's just, I can't think of any better reason than to just make it easier to assemble so your rotor's not moving around. So no screw over here. Probably will be on the other side. This one, actually I stripped it, the head stripped, and I had to drill it out. So that's why I didn't put it back. If there's one on the other side and I can get it out successfully, I'll put it back just because, but anyway, to the caliper bracket bolts, which are, who knows, probably 18s. They are 18 millimeters, so lucky guess on that. One of the other things that's something to consider when you pull this caliper or bracket or both is the flexible brake hose. So you don't want the weight of the caliper hanging on that. So normally I'll just kind of try to tuck it up out of the way, or use some big zip ties to secure it up to the spring or something, just to keep it, try to do the right thing sometimes. But this time I found this. It's like a planter hanger. And I think I can use it somewhere just to give this guy some support. So we'll try that, see how that works out. But yeah, all right. Trying to position this light where it's not blinding me, but also where you guys can see. But I don't know that that's going to happen. So here we go. Not like that. All right, top bolt is out. Go for the bottom. Yep. Okay. Both bolts are out, so I didn't try to compress the piston. I'm just going to see if I can get it out without doing that. May end up having to put at least one bolt back in it and see, but let's give it a shot. Nope. Yep, she's stuck tight. Okay. All right. I'm gonna fight with this for a minute, and once I get it off, we'll follow back up with y'all. And we're back. Not a big deal. What I ended up having to do was get a screwdriver through the back of the caliper between the rotor and the pad and kind of tap it in a little bit, and then pull the that gave me enough leverage to compress the piston enough to get the caliper and bracket off. So here's the pad on that side. This is the outside pad. See what the, I mean, the inside doesn't look any better. It just didn't come out. There we go. Oh, well, that's damage from me sticking a screwdriver in it, but you can tell that these guys are cooked. So, all right. So now, since we don't have a screw in here, all we got to do is take this guy off. And it's actually not too bad. It's just, I mean, you can feel it. You can feel these grooves in it, but there's just quite a they're worn. They're worn a good bit because there's this pronounced lip around the outside. So, okay. We'll try my new tool. I have a new tool, caliper compressor. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it in here. Because of this. But we'll see. Where is it? I've got it. Here we go. I think I probably can, but not with the not while it's mounted in the bracket, so maybe I messed myself up in this case, because it's supposed to just kind of go in there. Nope. Okay, well, so maybe the pulling the caliper bracket and the caliper is not the best move if you're also doing brakes. I guess if you're just doing a hub, it'll be easier to do it that way, but hey, you live and you learn. That's what we're doing here, right? So, I think I'm gonna go ahead and I can still get my C-clamp in there and do it old school, but for the video, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the caliper sliders and just separate the caliper from the bracket. Probably make it easier to go back together anyway. So, all right, let me sort that out. Be right back. Caliper bolts are 19 millimeters. So, go ahead and pull this one while it's in front of me. Right. Hook my hook back to the caliper itself, because this bracket is about to come loose. Right. Okay. So here's our bracket. Caliper's hanging. Now let's see. If the tool works. Now I'm going to show you something I just noticed. I feel like this is strange, but maybe I'm forgetful. But here's the inside, excuse me, the outside pad. You see the shape here is the shape of the caliper. This is the inside pad. You can see where the pistons engaged it. So what I'm noticing is the backing plate is different. This one also has the tab on it, the inside pad. So when we break the new pads open, we'll see if they're shaped the same, but just for future reference, the bigger backing plate with the tab was on the back side where the pistons are. Okay, so I will use that one. Sit him right there. And let's see if this little guy can do something for us, because obviously the C-clamp method has served me well forever. Okay. Oh yeah. It's a little, I mean, it's off center. I've got it closer, as close to center as I can get it because of the shape of the caliper, but it is probably ultimately easier to do it like this than to deal with the big C-clamp. Although it's getting a little tight, a little tough to turn, but we're still making good progress. Maybe if this handle was a little bit different shape, or was set up where you could put a ratchet on it, that'd be handy, but I'll switch up, push down on this one a little bit. It'd be better if I could get it dead center, but this is getting it done. Note to self, don't just let go of the caliper. Find a better spot to secure this hook. Alright, kind of go back to the other side and finish it off. Okay, that's pretty good. I think that's going to be plenty of clearance. Okay, so yeah, I think that'll hang okay. All right, I'm gonna go grab the new rotor and we'll get this caliper bracket mounted. This is where you'd spray everything down with brake clean, but not today because I don't have brake clean. So we're gonna go with it. And normally I wouldn't even care, but this rotor does have some tacky grease, I guess. So just be aware that, I don't know, I might try to find something to wipe them down with before. Yeah, let me go look. I'm gonna go look and see what I got. I guess something's better than nothing. Mineral spirits on a rag. The ideal recipe for a garage fire. Hopefully not. Okay, I feel better about that. So our new pads, I think they came with the new sliders, or yeah. So we got parts, I think maybe they're for two different this looks like what we got on here. So, but we'll pull one off and see. But also, since I just opened it, let's take a look at these pads. This one is going to be the outer. It doesn't have anything. It actually says it, outer. Look at there. Appreciate you, Bendix. And this one should be the inner. Yeah, the backing plate is bigger, and yeah, it's labeled inner, right hand inner. Neat. Feeling bougie. Because I guess the tab needs to be on the same side, because it said right hand inner. But okay, cool. So let's take these guys, try to get you a better angle here. All right, so kind of see how those go. All right, so that one sat in there though, so these grooves engage with these tabs. These have these little guys. I guess they're just like, I guess they retain the caliper. These probably had them and they're gone. But, so they should just snap right in. Should. Go. Other side. There we go. Okay. Slide. Do it right. There we go. Slide the caliper bracket. Go ahead and get our bolts started. Try not to touch the rotor too much, but I don't really care. It ain't that deep, as the kids say. All right, that one's started. This one started. So now I'm gonna go ahead and run these down with the impact. I feel like the torque spec is a not unreasonable amount of ugga-duggas, so I'm gonna go with that. Looking good on the clearance. That's gonna pull down, you know, so we're looking, yeah, everything looks good. All right, I'm gonna run these down and then we'll get the pads in, then caliper back on, caliper bolts, and call it, well, call it half a day, but call it a day. Still good. Okay. Tighten them down. I think now's a good time to show you this before we get too far into it. You know, I spun the caliper bolts out with the impact, but there is a nut or like a captured bolt head here that the caliper bolt goes into, and so I don't know what this is, probably a 14, 15 millimeter maybe. So probably advisable to put a wrench on that when you're tightening the caliper bolts, but you know, we'll see how it feels. We'll see how it feels when we get there. Okay, so I want to start with the inner pad. So this is the one that says right hand inner and inner. Because I think I'm going to have to kind of compress those. Yeah, not really. Not really excited about those actually, those little springs, because now the caliper won't just slide in. Or pad rather, not caliper. You know what I'm talking about. Because they can't really do that. I don't think they shouldn't. Maybe that is what they're for. I don't know. These are too fancy for me. Yeah, maybe that is what they're supposed to do. Hey. Because it's not touching the pad, and maybe it's supposed to help it spread, help it separate. These newfangled machines, I'll tell you. All right, that's what we're assuming it's for. Got a shade tree engineering degree, so. Cause problems at a future date, I will probably not tell y'all. Actually, I will. I'll follow up with y'all if this is a problem, but I do think that's how it's supposed to work. And I like that these have a little, I'm not a big on the whole thing. You know, you go to the store and they're like, oh, you're doing brakes? Here, get this $1 pack of juice. And I'm not too big on, I've never had to do that. Like, I've never had calipers or pads rattle or whatever, and it's never been an issue, so. I think there might be something to it with like lubricating the sliders or something, but these don't even come out. These are just, there's really no slider, you know? It's just like a it's just a bolt. Oh, there's a slider, but it doesn't come out unless you disassemble this. So I'm not doing that. So long story short, I'm not big on putting stuff on the pads. And so it is nice that these have this kind of tacky, rubbery coating to them. I'm not upset about that. Okay, let's get our caliper back on, get our caliper bolts in and started. And then we'll see if they, first of all, we'll see if I compress the pistons enough to get them on. Nope. Need a little bit more. The old pads were, as you could see, pretty cooked, so these pistons were out a good ways. Okay. Should be good now. I still stand by the fact that the screw that holds the rotor on isn't necessary, but it kind of would be helpful. So maybe I was too harsh earlier. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. If you do have it, your call. Put it back or don't. You do you. Okay, these things were actually pretty tight when I went to pull them earlier, so we'll see. I'm gonna put the impact back on them and just watch that. Watch that for me. Let me know if it's spinning. If it is, we'll find a wrench. That'll fit it. It did move a little bit, but not enough. I think it's good. Okay. One side down. I expect the other side to be uneventful. Not non-uneventful. I expect the other side to be uneventful, but if it turns out it's not, I will let you guys see what's going on. So if this is the end of the video, then you'll know it went well. All right, Birdie from the future. I forgot to tell you, well, first of all, driver's side went fine, same as passenger side. It did have the screw in it, and that screw is a T30. So if you don't have Torx sockets, they have these at Walmart. I think that they're, I don't know, I want to say it was like $5 or $6 or something, and it's got a T30 in it, so you can use that on a 3/8 impact if you got one, or you could use it in the socket. I mean, you know, on a ratchet too. But bigger thing, forgot to tell you, critical piece of information. Once you compress those calipers, the brake fluid goes back up to the reservoir, and So that means that right now there's no brake fluid in the calipers, or at least not enough to actually actuate the caliper. So once you get everything back together, start the vehicle, push the brakes, pedal's going to go all the way to the floor more than likely. So do that a few times until you get until you get like firm brake pressure before you try to drive. Because, you know, if you just hop in it, hit the brake, throw it in reverse, take your foot off or it'll start rolling backwards. And then when you're like in your birdie's car and you're in high school and your birdie's car almost runs into his dad's truck because there's no brakes, you'll remember to not do that again. So pro tip. But otherwise, good to go.